You're playing a normal game of Tekken and suddenly he does a string with a launching low. Come on, this is just cheating, right? I mean, you feel robbed, you feel dirty, that shouldn't be there. Well, I'm going to tell you how to beat all of these launching lows so you can use that cheese against them.
Fight.
Now, first of all, I'm a Tekken tutorial maker, so go check my channel out because there's probably something you will like, and also don't forget to subscribe. So today we're talking about launching lows in strings. So it needs to be a launching low and it also needs to be in the string. So snake edges, you won't find information here, but I made a video on all snake edges in the game. Just so you know, a snake edge is a reactable launching low. So once you see the animation, you can react to it, block it, and launch it. Now there's actually not that much characters with launching lows in their strings. You might think this is nice because you don't have to learn them all, right? And it is nice, but the thing is they might catch you off guard because you're not expecting a launching low once a string is busy. Now I went over all characters in the game, I searched for all the launching lows I could find, but if you notice that I missed the launching low, then please just drop that in the comments so people can see it. Also, when I start explaining a string and you say, man, I already know this one. Well, I go really in depth into these strings, so yeah, just stay tuned because you might learn something new. Now the first character we're going to talk about is Dragunov, and Dragunov has back to 1-3, which is a low launcher as I showed you before. Now this is used a lot in lower ranks, like the light blue and the green ranks. This is everywhere, so you really need to learn how to beat this. Now you have a few options. The first option is the thing is a snake edge, and what you know about snake edges is that they are reactable. So if we see the startup time here, you can see it's 29 frames until Dragunov hits. Once you get 25 frames, then a low starts to be seeable. Let's say 26 frames. If Dragunov here does the low, I can react to it and I can block it. And since the low is launch punishable, you just react to it, launch it, and yeah, you give him a world of pain. So at the lowest ranks, people really like to commit to their string. So I would suggest, or after you see a back to 1, you just duck preemptively because you know that there is a big chance that the low is coming, or you try to do it in the better way, what I think is the better way, and you really try to react to the string and just duck when he does it. Now the problem with just standing there and trying to react to the low is the fact that you're not doing anything. So if the Dragunov does back to 1 into back to 1 and then tries to pressure you, well, yeah, in the end you will not really do anything. You're just waiting for the low. So to tackle this problem you have two options. The first one is that you should notice that this is not a mid, this is a high. So the second part of the string is a high. If the Dragunov likes to do the back to 1 here, we'll see. He has a lot of back to 1s, and he does that again. Well, you can react to the high and just punish it. So yeah, you should really try to learn the animation of the back 2 and then duck as fast as possible and just launch punish him. Now I know that ducking after you see one move is really not easy, and definitely for beginners who have never seen the back 2 move, well, the back to 1 is pretty hard to react to. So another option you have, which is a bit dangerous, but I don't actually think this is a bad option, is that you down jab. Why? Because a down jab will both beat the low as will be the back to 1 into back to 1 or back to 1 into anything else, and is also a safe move. So as you could see, I will interrupt him if he does a snake edge. And if he tries to do anything else like a back to 1 again, I will still interrupt him. The only danger is that they do a back to 1 into a hop kick or a low parry, because yeah, a down jab is low parryable or jumpable. So in conclusion, you have 4 options. 1 is just start ducking and block the low. 2 is react to the low with a duck. 3 is duck the high. And 4 is interrupt with a down jab. I would say your best bet is to duck the high. I think that is the best option. But this is pretty hard because you need to react to a 1 move animation and then launch punish. Now the next string I want to talk about is Kazuya's up forward 4-4. And the fun thing about this string is that a lot of Kazuyas don't even know that it's a launcher. So they will just spam 4 to get 29 damage. But what you can do is do up forward 4-4, down forward 4, and then you screw and do this for 49 damage, which is quite a bit better. Now this move is pretty telegraphed, right? You see Kazuya jump in the air, do a air hell sweep actually, and then he goes for the low. So how do you beat this? Well, you just wait, you see the animation, and then you block it. And you can see he gets this hell sweep stun, and then you punish it, you launch it, and he loses half of his life. Now make sure that you don't try to react to the low, okay? It's not like Dragunov's snake edge. It's really, you see the animation of the mid and you duck after it. So yeah, it's pretty important. This is not a reactable low. So you really just want to learn the animation here. It's a really bad move to use. A lot of low rank Kazuyas use it because they can hit people with it, but at higher ranks this is just, yeah, you can throw it out sometimes, but you really shouldn't be using this as Kazuya. Now another thing that is actually pretty different than Dragunov's back to one is the fact that you can't really mix them up with just doing the first hit and then going for the second hit, or doing the first hit and doing something else. And that is because the animation on block, it's -12, and the opponent has enough time to see that you're not going for the follow-up and do something in between. So if I show this to you, I will block the low, and yeah, you react to the mid, so you always block low. And you'll see that if it doesn't do anything, I can just interrupt with a while standing 4. Now here we have another Mishima, it is Heihachi, and he has a low launching string after his hell sweep. So this one is actually a pretty complex string, so we need to go in depth on this one. So his hell sweep has a follow-up in 4, so you do hell sweep 4-4, and then this will be a low launcher. Some people don't know this, and they do this, and then that, only 43 damage. But what you can do is you do this, and then that, and then like that. So yeah, 63 damage, that's a lot more damage. So this is what you want to do, and you bring them to the wall and you get wall damage, so yeah. Now the first thing I want to note about this move is that this is actually pretty dangerous for beginner players. And the reason is that a lot of people play Kazuya, and Heihachi's string comes out of a hell sweep. Now we know that Kazuya's hell sweep, it ends in a mid. So what you do against Kazuya automatically is, yeah, you block standing, because a lot of Kazuyas at lower rank actually just misspace their hell sweep and they miss it, and then you go into a mid. Now Heihachi's hell sweep has, I think, a bit more range, but what you also have is that you want to block it standing, just because you know it's a hell sweep and you know a mid is coming. But this is not the case with Heihachi, right? So you need to block it while crouching. Now the second thing that is really dangerous is that you need to know how to punish this, because this move, it's not launch punishable. You see, he does this same stun as he does with a single hell sweep, and that stun most of the time is launch punishable. But now on the second stun, if we try to launch it, well, he just blocks it, and yeah, with Kazuya he can actually launch you. So how bad is this on block? Well, it's -10. So -10, you might say, I can't while standing 4 because that won't work. Well, no, but you can punish this, and that is with a down jab. So your down jab is 10 frames fast, so you can punish this. Now what I want to say is that even though you can punish it with a down jab and you get a bit of damage and +6, which is not bad, you can also try to catch Heihachi off guard and just go for a hell sweep yourself. Or go for, let's say you did a hell sweep, he expects a hell sweep, you go for your forward 4 which launches. So I'm not sure whether you should take the 5 damage here and the +6, because I think you better catch Heihachi off guard and try to mix him up with a big move. But yeah, that really depends on you. Do you want to guarantee damage and +6, which is also really good, or do you try to catch your opponent off guard? I think you should mix those two up. So sometimes you do, let's say, a down jab and then go for a hell sweep, and sometimes you go for your best crouch mix-up. Now this was only blocking the string and trying to punish the string, but the string actually gets a bit more complex because he has a mix-up. He can go low, but he can also go low into a mid. And the mid here also has a follow-up in which he does the low, mid. So how do you deal with this? Because if you don't want to get launched, right? So you block, but then you might get hit by this big ender, which does quite a lot of damage actually. Now the first thing I want to note when Heihachi really a lot of times enforces this mix-up on you is the fact that this first thing is a hell sweep. You gotta know it's a hell sweep, and you know that hell sweeps are launch punishable, right? So a Heihachi who constantly does that, well, he takes a lot of risk trying to enforce a mix-up, so you gotta block it and punish it then. But then, if he doesn't do that all the time and you get into the situation after the first hell sweep, what do? Do I duck or do I take the mid? Well, we go over the options here, right? So if we see the mid option and we duck, well, it's +8 on block, which is quite a lot, and it does 25 damage, so it's a bit less than normal hell sweep damage, but it's +8 on block and you're close to hit. So yeah, this is just a really good option, and let's see whether if we block it, what happens. Well, he's at -3, so it's a really good move. It's while standing 4 actually. Now he can also go for the follow-up after the mid, so this looks like this. I try to duck and you eat 45 damage. This is quite a lot of damage already. The only thing you gotta know is that when you block this, it's actually -16. So most characters can launch this easily with a hop kick. Heihachi is a character, yeah, or you need to do a back 3-3 or you need to electric punish, which is really not easy. This was not a punish. I got a video about that too, so if you're interested, check that out. So as a Heihachi player, this is really dangerous to pull off. If you know your opponent is not going to duck, then don't do this. So you have two types of Heihachis here. You have the ones who do the low in a mix-up with, with the double mid and try to go for a lot of damage. And you have the ones who mix the low up with the single mid because they think it's safer. I think going for this one, which is the dangerous mid, kind of makes the risk reward a bit skewed to the other player. Why? Because you're first of all doing a really dangerous low, and then you go into a mix-up where or you get launched or the other player is getting launched. So you kind of don't want that, right? Now safer Heihachi players, they only use one mid. It's +8 on block, on hit, it's -3 on block, and it does 25 damage. So it's kind of a normal hell sweep, a bit worse. But yeah, you can mix it up with this, so it's pretty good. Now if you're going up against a Heihachi player like that, you have two choices. One choice is to play the mind game with him, so if you think he's going to do the mid, you block mid. If you think the low is coming, you block low. The only risk is that if you block mid and he does the low, which is his best option, well, you're gonna have a bad time. What I think you should do, which is the second option, is if the Heihachi only does this, well, you just always block low. If you go for the low, you can punish it and you're at +6, and he did, how much did he do? He did 15 damage. And you block the second hit, you get a +6 and you do 5 damage. So that is not a bad trade. If he does do the mid, well, he gets +8 and 25 damage, which is worse than a hell sweep. But you gotta understand, this thing is a hell sweep, right? If you block the hell sweep, you lunge punish him. So what are you actually doing? Well, you're making Heihachi's hell sweep an actual hell sweep, just a bit worse, because 25 damage and +8 is, yeah, it's worse than the Oki of normal hell sweep. So you just always block until he starts doing this, and then you gotta be scared. Then I would say you take the mix-up, but if you take the mix-up, then you know, well, you have a big chance of launching him. Now let's talk about Feng, because Feng, you don't actually see him that much at higher ranks, but at lower ranks he's a real nightmare to play against. This is because, well, he has a snake edge, he has huge long-range launchers that are lunge punishable, but people don't punish this. He has a lot of lows in his strings, like this one and this one. But yeah, evasive stances also. But he's in this video because we're talking about low launching strings, and he doesn't only have one, he doesn't have two, but he has 3 low launching strings. So that is, yeah, for a beginner, this is just a nightmare. Now first, let's talk about Feng's down back 2-2-2 string. So you get down back 2-2-2, and as you can see, this is not a launcher, but this is a launcher. So only down back 2-2 will give you a launcher, and I think it will do, yeah, quite a lot of damage. Now, what is this string all about? Well, the down back 2-2-2, as he's going to do here, will only trip you on the second hit. So the first hit is 20 frames fast, and it will trip you on the second hit, so you gotta learn to duck this. So you're gonna duck, and then you don't want to get hit by the mid, so you stand up again. This is not easy, but you gotta learn this to not eat the full string. And then you think, well, that mid is probably punishable, right? So you try to punish it, and that doesn't work. So as you can see, the mid is actually -8, so this is safe. The second thing, you might say, I want to sidestep it, but you can't. You want to interrupt it with a down jab, but you'll still get hit, so you can't really do anything. Sometimes it works to get the down jab in, but it's really inconsistent, and I'm not really sure, when it works and when it doesn't. So the move is not punishable, but also if he hits you with it, if he decides to finish the string, well, he only gets 37 damage. So that's pretty okay. And if you block it, yeah, it's really time to do your best mix-up, because he's at -8, right? Now the Feng can actually be smart and decide that he's not going to do the last two, and then this becomes a launcher. So this is really dangerous, you really want to block this. The only thing, if the Feng does this, is the fact that this move becomes -17 frames on block. So this means that you'll get a lunge here. So it's pretty much a 50-50 on whether he will finish the string or not finish the string. Because if you try to punish and he finishes the string, well, then you'll get hit by the last move. So this is actually a pretty one-of-a-kind string in Tekken. Or he does the down back 2-2 and you get lunged, or if you block it and you punish it with a lunge punisher, then he'll get lunged. But he can also finish the string and then it is safe. So risk reward wise, I think the string is kind of in Feng's favor, except for the fact that it comes from a pretty slow low, only 20 frames, and it does not do that much damage. But also, if you have a parry, the risk reward really changes. And this is because if he does the full string and you get a character with a parry, you can actually react to the fact that he's finishing the string and just press the parry button, and then you get a lot of damage. So if I put him on doing both the down back 2-2 and the down back 2-2-2, well, we're going to see when he finishes the string, and then if he finishes the string, we're going to parry it, like that. So in conclusion, you really need to learn to block the second low. So if you see the move coming out, then you block, and then don't forget to try to block the mid. And if you wanna risk it, you can try to punish it, but this can happen, and if it doesn't do that, if we're lucky, then we'll get a lunge. So like that, we'll get a lunge and big damage. Now the second string I want to talk about for Feng is his 3 till the 4-3. You actually see this a lot in beginner matches, so the Feng does this thing and he runs in pretty fast, and then a low comes out, he tackles you, and well, you get hit by something like this, and it also pretty much hurts a lot. If you get hit by the first hit, then this won't be a launcher, so like that. But also if he only does the mid, so the first hit, and he goes into back turn, which I think is the best option, because if you block this move and he goes into back turn by holding back, it's -2, so he has quite a lot of options there. So if he only does the back turn one, he can actually also lunge you with doing something like this. And then he lunges you. So yeah, this move is pretty dangerous, and it's also really long range because he runs in from really far. So yeah, if you want to beat beginner Fengs, you need to know what to do here. Now first of all, most beginner Fengs will just throw out the low, right? So he's going to do this, and then the low comes, and this low is actually lunge punishable, so you'll lunge it. So that is the first thing you need to do. Once he runs in, then you duck and block the low. Now the Feng might adapt, so they know that you're going to block the low, so they might go into back turn, or they might just run in and do nothing. Well, I think the running and do nothing is how much? -7, so I don't think it's that good. But the back turn one, as I said before, it's -2, and you're expecting the low to come, so you will duck, and then you might get mixed up by the back turn. So what do you do here? Well, it is actually a really slow move, and it's really like telegraphed how he's running in. He's running in with his arms up, and the thing you'll see is it's 34 frames fast. So what you can actually do, but this is pretty hard, so for beginners just react and block the low. But for better players, once you'll start to recognize the animation, well, you can actually jab him out of it. So he runs in, you'll see him do the 3 till the 4 here, and well, this thing is so slow that you can, most of all, you can sidestep it. And if you're good in reaction, well, you can actually jab him out of it. But if you're too late, well, you will get hit. Now the move is really linear, so if you're already side walking or sidestepping, you will beat the move out like a lot. So yeah, if the Feng is constantly throwing that out from far, well, you just start sidestepping and you will beat it. But I wouldn't say you need to react to the move with a sidestep. Why? Because you're constantly moving, right? So you're moving up, down. You're doing the spacing thing, and once you see him move, once you see him do the move, you try to sidestep, and most of the time you'll be too late because you're busy backdashing, you're busy going forward. So what I would say is, if he does the move, well, you try to jab him out of it. I think that is the best option. So once you recognize it, you jab him out of it, and well, you'll get a combo here. Now, can I really react to this? Because now I say that I can react to this, that you need to do that, but what if he does, like, what if he doesn't run in with 3 tilde 4, but he really runs in with a forward 3, or he does his, he does his crouch dash. Well, I'll show you that it's actually possible to react to it. So now he did the 3 tilde 4, this is not the 3 tilde 4, this is too late, shit. Now, I don't suggest you do this all the time, okay? Because if you're too late, you will eat it, and that's not what you want. But there are things that, yeah, from distance always do this. So if you concentrate and if you're ready for it, then you can punch him out of it. Now it's too late, and yeah, you will really hurt him with it. But yeah, if you're playing against a Feng who only does this suddenly, then just don't try to press a button because you will get hurt. It's really only for those Fengs who do this all the time and just use this as their getting in move. Well, then you need to learn how to hit them out of it. So in conclusion, after he does the mid, you block it for the low and then you punish it, like you would do for most beginner Fengs. And if they really overuse this and try to go into back turn with it all the time, well, that is a time where you say you punch him out of it and then you get a combo. Now, last but not least, are Feng's forward 4-4 string. So forward 4-4, as you can see, it will trip the opponent, and then here you'll get a combo. So this forward 4-4, the low here is the same low as you have with sidestep 4. So Feng actually has a pretty good mix-up tool in sidestep 4. And the thing about this move is it's the same as Paul's Demolition Man in that you don't get this move, you don't get a lunge if it's not a clean hit. So you'll need a clean hit here, as you can see here. Same for forward 4-4. If this is not a full hit, not a clean hit, then you won't get the lunge. Now, there is one big difference between the sidestep 4 and the forward 4-4, and that is that the sidestep 4, if he does that and I block it, well, you see he staggers and I get a lunge. But if he does the forward 4-4 and I block it, he doesn't get the stagger. So it's only -12. So you can while standing forward, or if you want damage, you'll need to low parry it. Now, the dangerous part about the forward 4-4 is the fact that forward 4 is actually a really good move of Feng. So most of the time they do forward 4 and they'll hold back, and this is a great keep out move. And this is also a launcher, so if you hold down forward there, after you launch him, so down forward, then you can launch him and get a combo. So yeah, forward 4 is a great move, so you need to know what to do on forward 4, and then he might do forward 4-4, and actually he has something else, so we can go into back turn and try to evade or punish. But he can also go forward 4-3, and there he has a mid extension. So you get the mid extension -10, you get the low here, you get a forward 4 into holding down back. You just have the normal forward 4 that is not -9. So he has a lot of things you need to take care of. You need to know what to do here. But if we're talking about beginner things, most of the time they'll do forward 4-4 or forward 4-3. So they try to mix you up with the mid and the low. Now, how do we beat this? Well, first of all, forward 4-4, this thing is 10 frame punishable, so it's -10. So make sure you punish this with your 10 frame. Now, the low comes out a bit later, and as I told you, you can low parry it, or you can while standing 4 or a 12 frame while standing punisher, right? But as you can see here, the low is actually not that fast, so you can see him spinning, and you can actually react to this and duck at the right moment. So what you do is you just keep standing to punish the mid, and you wait for the mid to come, and you punish that, and once he does the low here, you can duck and you can punish. You can even do this with a low parry. So you punish this, and let's say he does a low parry. Oh, sorry, he doesn't do a low parry, but he does the low, and you can see the low, and you can low parry it and punish it. Now, better Feng players will actually try to mix you up with another option, and that is the forward 4 back. So the forward 4 back is actually yeah, it's just a great tool of Feng, and he can go into down back also to evade your options. So if we do forward 4 back down back, and we'll try to punish this. So yeah, this will happen, this will happen. So yeah, it's pretty dangerous to attack here, depending on how far your option reaches. But then again, if you're attacking and he's doing the low, then you'll get hit by the low. Or if he's doing the mid, you'll get hit by the mid. So what do you actually do here? Well, if you're just standing there and waiting for the low or the mid, well, yeah, he can go into back turn and he can mix you up with stuff. So he can do his dangerous down 3, which is also a launcher. So if this happens, you're not happy. So yeah, what do you do? There's so much options. What do you do? What I suggest you do is that you actually backdash. So once you see the forward 4 coming out, you backdash. So let's see what happens. So he does the mid. Well, the mid, if you backdash, you can just also punish it. So that is good. Now we get the low here. As you know, it's only a launcher on clean hit, so you will not get launched. So that is also good, right? If he goes into back turn, the most dangerous thing in back turn is a down 3 low. Well, it won't launch you because, yeah, you're far away and you can block it and punish it. Yeah, if you want to take a guess, but you can just backdash. If he does a mid from backdash, which is 1+2, great mid, yeah, well, he will miss and you can launch punish him. So backdashing is a great option. So if we get these mix-up tools here, well, as you can see, you just backdash and you punish where you need to punish. Now, one other option you can do is you can backdash, and once you see him going for that forward 4, the low, you actually backdash and you can duck on reaction. So you actually have a punish here. So this I should have punished. I can punish that if I want. And then here I react to it and I punish it. So this concludes the 3 strings of Feng. So I hope you take him to the lab because, yeah, this is a nightmare to deal with if you don't know Feng. Now, Eddy, while being the master of cheese, only has 1 low launching string. So let's have a look at this. It's like that and then this. So the low launching string is forward 4, 3+4. And he has a mix-up option here where he does forward 4, 3 and then 3+4, or just forward 4, 3 and then stops. So the first thing we'll have a look at is the low option. Now if we block the low option, he staggers, so you can punish him really badly, except for the fact that it is a really weird stun and a lot of mids will whiff. So what you actually have to do with Kazuya is delay your punish and then you can hit him and punish him. It's a really weird hitbox because if you actually crouch cancel electric here, this was not an electric, this is an electric, well, then you can hit him. So it's a really weird stagger and you really need to find your character's punish for this. Now the mid, if we have a look at it, well, this thing is -11 on block, so you can punish it, except for the fact that you can be scared that he does the follow-up. So if we try to punish here, well, yeah, he will hit us with the follow-up. So if he only does the follow-up, well, this move is -14, so if you're playing Bryot, then just don't forget to jet upper this. Now, there's one thing interesting about the mid, and that is if you duck for the low, well, you can still punish the last move, so this doesn't jail, so here I can still punish. So that is also good to know, that if you train with ducking and he does the mid and then you get hit by the mid, don't forget to stand up to block the follow-up. Now if you're playing against a beginner Eddy who only does these 2 options, well, I actually think that you can react to the low. So I'll try to take the mix-up here, which is the mid and the low, and if I see the low, then I can just duck. So I think the animation is pretty much shows that he's going to do the low, and well, you need to punish this. But as you can see, the punish is something you need to practice because I sometimes even miss it. Let's try that again, and we punish this. Another thing I need to talk about is the fact that he can go into this same string from back 1, so he can go back 1, 4 and then do the low. So yeah, you need to learn both the animation of the back 1 as the forward 4. Now Eddy actually has another option which can make this a little more tricky, and that is going into forward 4 back, which makes him go into handstand. So yeah, this is something a lot of Eddy players will mix you up with, that they do handstand and then they do this throw, which is actually seeable but unbreakable and pretty hard to react to, and you're already searching for the low, so yeah, that can be a bit dangerous. Now I actually think that the handstand is not that dangerous of a mix-up tool for Eddy, and yeah, you need to learn to react to the grab, because the grab is actually dangerous, it's unbreakable, it does a lot of damage, but it's 26 frames, and yeah, you should learn the animation for this. It's not easy, but you should learn it. Now, if he does the handstand, then yeah, it's even harder to react because you might think the low is coming, etc. So I get that it's not easy, but after a while you'll learn it. Now, a lot of people against this mix-up with the low, the mid, the handstand say that you need to backdash here. The reason is that the low actually only launches you on clean hit. So if I backdash here at the right moment, I can actually float Eddy. If he doesn't clean hit me but only hits me a little, well, I can still punish him. I missed the punish here, but I'll show you like that. Or yeah, you can do something else, but that was actually a punish. And yeah, that's why they say backdash, because it will evade the mid, it will evade a lot of handstand options. But I don't think that is actually the best option, because I think the low is pretty reactable. So if it does the low, well, you can react to it and you'll get a full lunge, a full punish. Also, you can punish the mid, and the handstand you should really be focusing and checking whether he does the grab or not. So if you are backdashing, well, yeah, I think you'll get out of focus more. But that is personal opinion. I also think that the backdash is pretty unreliable. So a lot of times you'll miss the backdash and you'll get lunched, which I don't really like. Now, Master Raven is a pretty unfamiliar character for a lot of you, and she also has like a few weird strings, and one of those strings is up forward 3, and then she has her back turn options, or she can go up forward 3, 4, which is a high, up forward 3, 3 is a mid, and then she has a low, and up forward 3, down 3. Now this doesn't really seem like a launcher because she's so far away, but she can actually launch this, what a lot of people don't know, and maybe Master Raven players don't even know this, but you can do a forward, forward, forward. So let's see whether I can get this, and you really need to do a fast deep dash and then a 4, like that, and then you can get a launcher. But yeah, this really requires some practice, but it is possible, and I'm sure a lot of Master Ravens know how to do this. So what can you do against it? Well, first of all, you gotta know that this thing is, if we do the low option only, well, this thing is minus 15 on block. So if you have a launcher here, you can launch this. So that was the wrong button. Like that. So you can launch this. Now, it's pretty dangerous to try to launch this because she actually has an other option, and that is up forward 3, 3 into 3. And if you try to punish this with your while standing launcher, well, she will evade you and punish you, and that thing is safe. So what do you actually do here? Because you can't really punish it, also not with while standing 4. Well, I think you need to low parry this. So it's pretty slow. I'm not sure whether you can react to this, but you can at least low parry it. Now, she has the mid option, right? So the mid option is, if you try to duck, then this will happen. So it's pretty dangerous to duck. But the mid option is also minus 15. So most characters can just get a hop kick here and launch her. Master Raven needs to do forward 2, 3, which is her best 15 frame punisher. That is not a lot of damage, but okay. And the thing here, what I suggest you do is you do a fuzzy guard. So a lot of people might not know what a fuzzy guard is. So let me explain this to you. It is not an easy concept, but I will try my best. So a fuzzy guard you can only do if there's a difference in speed between the mid and the low. So as you can see here, the mid will come out way faster after the high than the low. So she did the mid is pretty fast, and if she does the low, well, the low will come out slower, as you can see here. So what you're actually going to do is you're going to block standing until the timing of the mid is over, and then you're gonna block low. So it's not something you do on reaction, you're actually going to hold back and then press down back, even though you didn't see the low coming. So she's gonna do both options, both the mid and the low, and the only thing I'm going to do is once I block the high, well, I'm going to hold a standing block, and once I think the mid is over, I'm going to hold a low block. So it looks like this. So she does the high and I low block. She does the high and I low block. she does the high, and I low block. But as you can see, I blocked the mid because I delayed my low block long enough to block the mid. That is actually what you want. That is a fuzzy guard. So I'm not reacting to anything. I'm just delaying my low block to beat both options. Now the reason I'm telling you this is I don't actually want you to fuzzy guard this mix-up, but I want you to low parry this mix-up, but with a fuzzy guard. So you're gonna hold the standing block long enough until you think the mid is over, and then you're going to do a down forward low block, not low block, low parry. And this parry actually beats both options of the low, right? Because as you might remember, if you try to punish this, well, she can punish you if she does this. So you don't want that, so you're going to do a fuzzy guard into a low parry. So let me demonstrate this for you. I'm going to delay the low parry, and as you can see, I beat the mid, but I did the wrong punish. So I did my punish too late because I'm not a Master Raven player, but that was the low parry. Again, low parry. And let me try to punish the mid here so I can really show you what you do. But as you can see, I can pretty much beat both options every time. So yeah, this is not easy to do. If you say, well, this is way too much work to learn because Master Raven is not played that much, well, just remember the low is really dangerous because it can be a launcher. That was the high, this is the low. You also beat the high by ducking, so I would say low parry this, and if you eat the mid, well, the mid is actually not that much damage. So if you're not at the wall, well, I wouldn't really mind eating the mid because I would low parry the low. Now the last thing I want to go really in depth with is pulse forward 2. Not only because the string is really obnoxious, but also because it is used so much at lower ranks, and you really gotta know the ins and outs of this string to learn to punish this. First of all, this is a launcher. As you can see, I don't really know the combo, but something like this should work, right? So yeah, it is a launcher, and the thing is that this is a mix-up with Paul's other strings in forward 2-1, which is a just frame, forward 2-1, not really a just frame, but on hit you need to press the 1, and forward 2 fast 1 or slow 1, well, you will get this mid. So it's a mid and a high. Now the first thing I want to say about the mix-up between the mid and the high is that this is used a lot as an example to what you should fuzzy guard. So, you know, with Raven we talked about fuzzy guarding. Well, you can also fuzzy guard with doing a fast duck and then a standing block. So this will mean that we fuzzy guard the high, so we duck under the high and then we stand up fast enough to block the mid and punish the mid. So this is what a lot of people show that you can do against this string. Now I would highly suggest not to do this. Why? Because if he starts doing the low, and at lower rank they always do the low because the low gives them a lot of damage if you get hit by it. So you try to fuzzy guard, and when he does the low you really can't react anymore. So yeah, you'll eat this just because you're trying to fuzzy guard, and the fuzzy guard is really hard with the animation and stuff. So don't try to fuzzy guard this string, even though it is used as an example of fuzzy guarding strings. So what I actually suggest you do is you just standing block until you see the low coming out, and then you low parry. Why do you low parry? Well, let's see if we block this. So we're just going to block and then react to the low. And if we block this, we're at he's at minus 19, but you have to see the range at which we are. So as you see here, range 2.5. So if we try to punish this, well, you'll get punished yourself. If you do a slow move, he can punish you. So yeah, don't just block this. There are options to punish this if we just normally block this. So something like this, if you do it fast enough, will actually give you a punish. Let's try that again. Like that. But I would suggest that you look out for the move and then you low parry this. So if I show you this mix up here, well, we're just going to standing block until we see him do the low. If he does the mid, then we'll punish the mid. If he does the high, well, we're in neutral, so it's okay. And if he does the low, we low parry. Now the string even becomes more complicated with the fact that he can cancel the mid option. He can also cancel the low option and try to, get a while standing thing here going. But if you just block and you look out for the low and you block the low, and if he cancels the low, then you go up again, nothing really can happen for you, and most of the time you will end up with plus frames or a punish or even like a low parry. So yeah, just make sure that you punish the low with a low parry, because a lot of Pauls do this at lower ranks. It's crazy how much I see this. Now there are two low launching strings where I actually haven't talked about, that are Claudio's down to 2 and Julia's back 3, 4, as you will see here. Now those I actually talked about in my Snake Edge video, so definitely check that out. Now I'll go in short over them. So Claudio's down to 2 is actually more a Snake Edge, because only the second hit of the string launches only in Starburst, and the second hit of the string comes out at 31 frames. So it's actually more a Snake Edge. And also Julia's back 3 is also reactable on just doing the move, so it's 27 frames, which means you can react to it. And then you punish it, or if you get hit by the first string, you can actually low parry it even on hit. So these are all the launching lows that I know that are in strings. If you know another one, if I missed something, well, just put that in the comments. And now once you know how to beat all these lows, well, you'll feel like a Tekken god. So see you guys next time, and I hope you enjoyed it.